Over the last 8 years, I've generated over 1 million leads using different digital marketing strategies. So when my friends need a little bit of help with their marketing, I'm typically the person that they turn to in order for a little bit of advice. So since I shared some of this advice with my friends for free, I figured why not show you the exact same scenario so that if you two are building a high ticket marketing strategy, that you can see how I've done it in the past by helping an 8-figure company scale their marketing for their high ticket programs. And then that way we can all benefit from it. Let's dive in. So here's the problem that I was presented. And my friends, they are coaches and they help train other coaches and do certifications and stuff for them. So the problem that they had was they had a 3-part video series where they were trying to drive people into that video series and with the idea of getting them to book a call with them at some point during that particular funnel. So 3-part video series funnels are good. There is a bit of an art to it and a science to them, but mostly it is basically just showing a little bit about who you are, what you offer, and the results that you get, and then having a call to action. But there's a few key points that we need to think about here. So they had their registration page, then they had their email series up here, and then they pushed on a day 1, 2, and 3. They pushed their leads through this particular 3-part series. What was happening was people were coming into the funnel and some people were watching the videos, but they weren't really taking the next step. And the next step for them is essentially a phone call. So they want to get them on the phone and sell them into whatever program is most suitable for them. But the big thing that was not converting here was the actual call to action itself. So the call to action was simply just a button. So let's draw this page out. So they had their video up the top, which was fine. And then they had like a couple of exercises. So like it might be 1, 2, and 3, a little bit, few exercises and giveaways and stuff, which is great. Something that you want to do. And then they had their CTA here, their call to action. And that call to action was basically no more than book a coaching call. It was basically just book a call worth $400. To me and to any of the prospects coming in, booking a call is not something that I want. If it's $400, what does that actually mean? So this was the sticking point right here that I believe people are getting hung up on. And also this is based on working with a business that we did millions of dollars per year just on an application funnel itself. So knowing this and getting this right is the first step. You could build $1 million business on just this one step here. And that's exactly what my recommendation was. They need to start here. So step 1 is to build your long form application page. If you are selling any type of high ticket type of product or service, your long form application page is always the first page you want to create. This will get the lowest hanging fruit in your audience and move them in the right direction to book in a call with you. So the way that looks is the long form page. You could have maybe have a video at the top if you like, but you want to talk about who you are, what you do, relate to them with some sort of story, really hit on their pain points, provide what your frameworks are, give them an introduction into what they are, and then make a call to action, which is begin the application process. So they would sign up for the application at the bottom, or at some point you'd have buttons right throughout. And then they would give their name and email and phone number here. It's a terrible pen. Name, email, phone number. And as soon as you collect that information, you would send that into your CRM. So we still have our email series and our CRM. We would send that data into there, but we immediately want to move them into a book a call. So the people who do move through this second stage here, if they book a call, that means they're very hot. So you want to make sure you have spots in your calendar open very quickly for these people who book immediately. Not everybody will book at this stage, which means you're going to have to do some follow-up. So we want to do some follow-up here, which is going to be from SMS, email, and you could even try calling as well. I'll get to it in a minute, but I'll tell you what the company I work for, we basically just ran this funnel entirely for the entire year, and then a few event funnels, and then a couple of webinar funnels. And that generated basically $9 or $10 million for that particular year that I worked with them. Anybody who books in there, they're going to go straight into your calendar. You get a notification, you show up on the call, you make sure they're going to show up on the call with all of these things. And then once they've booked that call, you redirect them to a survey page where you collect all the extra information that you want to get beside their email and phone number that you got at this stage. So extra information could be, why do they want to sign up? What are their biggest sticking points? What are they most interested in? All of those types of things to get more information for your particular call. Not everybody is going to go through every stage. So let's say for every, 100 people that move through to this stage, only 50% of them or 50 of them will book a call, which means 50% of them are going to drop off, which is why you have your email series to keep sending people to book that call. But also you want to be getting on the phone and start calling them to see why they didn't book as well. And then likewise, people who book this call, probably going to find that you have another 50% drop off of people who don't submit that application. So you then need to have to follow up with those people saying, hey, before your call, make sure you fill in this application. So I have the right information to go through with you. So once they go through that, then like I said, you want to be following up with email, SMS for their confirmation. And it's what we call the follow-up matrix. And then the idea is then to get them, these are terrible drawings. Sorry for all of this drawing, by the way. I'm a terrible drawer, but I hope you get the point. But the idea is to get them on a phone. So this is two people on a phone or on a Zoom call chatting. And you could literally run, if you had enough cash flow, you could run this funnel and build this up to 7 figures. So when we were running this funnel for that particular company, I know back then that this was probably 4 or 5 years ago now, we're paying anywhere between $1,500 to $2,500 per signer. So it only really makes sense if you do have a $10,000 or more product. But keep in mind, this was like a well-oiled machine at this point. There was me in marketing driving a ton of leads. Then there was probably like a 5 to 6 person sales team who was doing the call strategies and the applications. And then they had a 2-part call sales process to get them into this $14,000 program or $44,000 program, I think there was at the time. So that's one option. That's the first place that you want to start as option number 1, so that you can get the lowest hanging fruit and drive people into there. Unless you have a ton of marketing dollars, like I said, but it's going to cost you probably $2,500 these days to get a client. So you need to have the program or the lifetime value to support that particular amount of acquisition. Once you then have that, then this is when you would now start to build out these other funnels that are going to attract a larger amount of audience than an application funnel. Because you want to think about it this way. People come to you at different stages of their journey, and they'll be from most aware. So they're like product aware or like solution aware. And then there'll be people at the top here who are not aware at all. So most people market to the people down here, which are solution aware, which is where people are ready to make a buying decision, which does make sense. But the problem with that is that it costs a lot of money to reach those people. The other option is if you market it to people who are not aware yet, they don't know they have a problem, they don't know they need a solution, then it's also going to take a lot of marketing dollars because you have to take them through that whole educational process. So we do want to market down here a little bit, but we also want to reach this middle ground as well, where it does cost a little bit less to market. They need a little bit of education. And this is where now things like webinar funnels or things like this 3-part video series make total sense, because people might come into that with a bit of a problem that they think they have, but they're not really sure. That's where you can tell them that, yes, they definitely do have a problem, and you can start to educate them on what that solution will be, and then eventually present your particular product or service as that solution. This is where we would now create a different type of funnel, like a webinar. So we did these maybe once per month or every second month, and they generated anywhere between 80K to 250K per month. So we just do a live webinar where people sign up for, they get a confirmation when they sign up, and then we do the live webinar on the day. And then now this call to action points them to this funnel that we now have. So this page becomes the call to action for all of our other lead gen activities. The same way for this video series up here is now we can send people to this page as well to move them from being a little bit unsure about what that offer is to really understanding what that particular offer is. And then if you have more funnels that you want to run, then a live event funnel will work really well as well. There's a different type of person that gets into a room with you. And when you get someone in a room, you have a much bigger chance of closing them if you are good at sales and if your product is good. Then getting people into a live event will help you close all of these people that have been sitting on the fence up here for a little while as well. And then the like I said, so these webinars and these 3-part video series, they're very much sit in the middle of this particular marketing funnel where they're a little bit aware. And then you could also do things like virtual summits, which is what I'm really great at. And they sit up even higher on the awareness stage, where it's a little bit cheaper to target them, which means you can go big and you do a little bit of a broader topic, and you can go big and you can literally drive the biggest summit that we've done. We've driven 30,000 leads into the business. I actually ran ads for a client back in the day. I think she had 74,000, I think it ended up 74,000 email subscribers sign up for her particular summit. So doing these virtual events to drive people into this top of funnel stage is the perfect way to do it. And then you slowly use these other marketing channels or marketing offers or campaigns to drive them further and further down this funnel until they're ready to then jump on a call with you, and you then offer them solution and sell them something. If you did do all of that, you would absolutely grow your business no matter where it is right now. But if you did that in really world-class ways, like the company that I work for, then that's an 8-figure business strategy right there. As long as you have the product and the service on the back end with the high price tag to actually make up for it. So I hope that was valuable. If it was, let me know in the comments. And I do dive into more advanced tips like this in my newsletter. There'll be a link in the description to sign up. See you in the next video.